Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here. We're doing an 8-4 Oath of the Gatewatch Battle for Zendikar draft. Opened a great pack. Got Obligator, Oblivion Strike, Immolating Glare. It's going to be one of those three, probably the Oblivion Strike. I think it's better than Immolating Glare just because you can do it offensively or defensively. I think Obligator's a good card, but I think actually Oblivion Strike is better. I've certainly gotten destroyed by Obligator before, but I think a removal spell that just deals with everything is probably just better. Okay, so probably just go for Oblivion Strike number 2 here. There's also a Baloth Null, Ondu War Cleric, both of which are good, but let's just take the second one. Okay, so pick number 3. We've got Seed Guardian, which is good, Reality Hemorrhage, Scion Summoner, and that's about it. So I like Seed Guardian. How much more do I like it than Reality Hemorrhage? I like it quite a bit. It seems like it's probably a better card than Reality Hemorrhage. It's got reach. 3/4 is a good body. It's another 4-drop, but I think Seed Guardian is better enough than Reality Hemorrhage where I probably just want to take it here. Maybe wheel the Summoner. Probably not. This pack's not quite deep enough. Okay. So in black we have Zulaport Chainmage and Unnatural Endurance. In green we have Pulse of Marasa. The best card might be Sweep Away. But Pulse is good too. I typically don't play Pulse, but I think it's good. Whenever I play against it, I'm like, wow, this is actually good. Sweep Away is good too, though. Probably a little bit better than Pulse of Marasa. I'm going to take the Pulse, though, I think. Seems early to take it, I guess. Could also take Unnatural Endurance, which is a good 1-mana trick. Could also take the Chain Mage. All of these are fine options. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to take the Endurance. It just seems like I want to play these Oblivion Strikes, so if I can, I will. Alright, Stalking Drone versus Hedron Crawler versus Translator. All of which are good. I think Stalking Drone is a good card. Definitely think Stalking Drone is good. I guess the question is, do I want to take it here over like Hedron Crawler? I might. I definitely think Stalking Drone's probably better than Hedron Crawler. This and Slaughter Drone have just kind of rapidly become really all-star 2-drops in the format. I think they're good. I'm going to take the drone over the Hedron Crawler. I only regret it if I don't end up in green. Okay. Well, another opportunity to take a second Stalking Drone. I'm going to take this. I like it. They are quite good. We're going to obviously need some colorless mana sources to make sure that they're exactly what our deck needs, but they are good. All right, Scion Summoner here is a nice pickup. I like it. Taking it over Lead by Example. Just fine. Okay, Pulse versus Tar Snare and Kozilek's Pathfinder, I guess. So Pulse can bring back... I might want the Tar Snare, actually. Combat Trick. I don't know. They're both probably equal in strength. One's a removal spell. One's a cool spell just for buying you time. We look more aggressive, which I think makes Tar Snare better. It's still too early to tell if we're going to be aggressive, but I get the feeling, just based on the first few picks we have, that we're likely to be more aggressive. I could take the Reaver Drone. It does look like we can make it work in this deck. It's not typically a great card, though. Otherwise, I take a second Unnatural Endurance or another chance at Pulse. I'll take the Reaver Drone. It's uncommon. All right, I'm going to take the Waste over the second Unnatural Endurance. I think Unnatural Endurance would be good here, but we've got Stalking Drones, and just getting one now. There's also a Vines of the Recluse, which is a good trick, but I'm going to pick up these Wastes. All right, we'll hate the Searing Light, I think. So, yeah, my rule of thumb, typically, I just want 3 colorless mana sources. That's like the magic number. All right, we'll take Elemental Uprising. I've yet to have to play this card, but if you're being aggressive, it can be playable. Take the Corpse Churn, I guess. So, pretty successful pack 1. We got powerful removal spells. Some powerful 2-drops. We kind of, I guess, moved pretty deep into black-green. Whoops. But I think that's fine. It's a fine archetype. Not my favorite, but yeah, especially since we passed the Baloth Null. But I mean, we got an Oblivion Strike over it. Ooh, Thought-Knot Seer. Well, that card's really good. We're going to take that. It's worth tickets, and it's just a really powerful 4-drop, so hopefully wheel the Stalking Drone or the Sky... More likely the Sky Scourer, which I'm fine with, but Thought-Knot Seer is a nice pickup for us. Okay, so probably the Baloth Pup. It's aggressive. I don't take it very often, but otherwise it's like... Could take the Hedron Crawler, too. I feel like the aggressive card is more in line with what this deck wants. I think we'll be able to find a 3rd colorless mana source for the Thought-Knot Seer at some point. I like Hedron Crawler, but not in aggressive decks, not as much. And Baloth Pup is very aggressive. Not an insane broken card, by the way, but otherwise, I mean, there's some other picks in here for us, but it feels like Baloth Pup is more in line with the aggressive thing we're trying to do here. All right, I'll take the Slaughter Drone. Like I said, I really like this card. And I'm pretty sure it's what we want. All right, Isolation Zone in here. There is a Lagac, which we probably just want. There's a Summoner, a Sky Scour, and a Waste as well. But we're going to take the Lagac, which is just good. Havoc Sower, Path Warden, Reaver Drone, all sorts of cards we want. Another 4-drop might not be what I want. We're already a little bit 4-drop heavy. Sky Scour over Havoc Sower seems wrong, but I could take the Reaver Drone too. I think Scour is better. We have less colorless spells now from this pack. We've certainly taken some more non-colorless spells. Reaver Drone, for the most part, is pretty underwhelming. We are looking like we want to be hyper aggro, which could make it better. I'm thinking the Sky Scour might be more in line with what we want if we can make this sort of colorless plan work. Maybe I just take the Havoc Sower anyway because it's just a strong card. Maybe wheel one of those weaker cards. All right, Corrupted Crossroads is a nice pickup for us. And we're just giving up a pulse for it, so I'm okay with that. Slaughter Drone number 2, taking it, playing it. Looking good. This is the kind of deck I like. Jeez, surprising. So I could take Ruin in their wake, but this doesn't work the way you want it to. What's going on here? All right, let's hate the Blinding Drone. It's definitely the best card remaining in here. I guess technically I could play it off of Corrupted Crossroads, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't really want to Chain Mage. We can't make that work. I don't really, I guess, want a Warden of Geometries either, but playing a second Elemental Uprising doesn't seem all that great either. I guess the chances of me playing a Warden are so low, I might as well just take a Elemental Uprising, play some sort of suicide black-green deck. So Warping Whale versus a second Tar Snare versus Pulse of Marasa. I guess Pulse of Marasa brings back Thought-Knot Seer, Saddleback, Seed Guardian, some 2-drops. It just really doesn't strike me as a Pulse deck. I think we're more going to want this Tar Snare with our 2-drop creatures. None of these cards matter. I think we'll take the sweep away. All right, got a summoner back, which is pretty nice. So this deck looks like basically just needs a Swarm Surge, and we are in business. Blue seems to be open from this way, but we're definitely making the black-green thing work here. Just fine. Prefer to not play the Elemental Uprisings, I guess, ultimately, but... Okay, so Titan's Presence in this deck, we currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 things that work pretty well with it. Could take the Evolving Wilds, which finds us wastes for... I mean, we're going to need the colorless mana, but Titan's Presence being an actual removal spell that exiles, I think is what we're looking for. We already have 9 things that work with it. I think we can find some more. And I think we're likely going to be able to find a Swarm Surge at some point. Okay. So what do we take here? I mean, we have Eyeless Watcher, which I guess kind of works to turn on these guys. It's another 4-drop, though. Miasma's good against us, but I don't really want to take a card that's good against us. I'd rather take something we might play. Nightwatch, not really what this deck's looking for. I mean, honestly, Eyeless Watcher isn't really either, but I guess we'll take it. If we do end up with Swarm Surge, it'll be good there. Infuse with the Elements. Yeah, it doesn't really work there. Could take the Blister Pod, which is fine if we have like Bone Splinters, which actually does look good in this deck at this point. Guess we can take Blister Pod. There is Voracious Null too, which actually looks okay in here, but I think it's a pretty easy card to wheel most of the time. Slab Hammer. We look aggressive enough where we could make Slab Hammer work in here. Otherwise, we probably just want the Orion Reef Invoker. Just like a nice mana sink. We don't quite have enough exile stuff to make the Mindbreaker work. Let's take the Invoker, I think. Bloodbond Vamp with no life gain is not the best. Kind of feel like we don't want Eyeless Watcher now. We do look like a 16 land deck, though our curve is very low. But a little bit more sketchy when you've got these spells here. I think we're going to end up wheeling Voracious Nulls and playing them, so let's just take the Blister Pod. Although I guess I could take Voracious Null now and wheel the Blister Pod too. They both tend to go just so late, it might not matter. We're running low on time to find a Swarm Surge. I'll take the Blister Pod. I think we're going to wheel those Voracious Nulls. Alright, Cutthroat's like amazing in this deck. Let's get the Uprisings out of here, I think. Alright, complete disregard. We'll take the removal, definitely. Dominator Drone. There's our Swarm Surge, though. I think we want the Swarm Surge. We've just got enough ways to abuse it. I do think Dominator Drone would be good in here, too, but Swarm Surge just seems like something this deck wants. It seems like a good way to finish. Let's get Corpse Churn out of here. Unnatural Aggression. I guess not really what this deck wants, but nothing else in here is either. Territorial Baloth to kind of the top end of the deck. It's fine. It's not incredible. I still think we're probably a 17 land deck, regardless. Which means I'm going to have to make a cut. Maybe one of the Tar Snares can go. Or maybe, well, the Blister Pods are going to be better with the Swarm Surge now. I don't really care about hating a Reclaimer. We'll take the on-color thing. All right. Voracious Null with double Blister Pod. Double Scion Summoner. We might end up playing it. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to hate the medic because we're not playing the assassin. Medic seems like it blocks this reasonably well. Reclaiming vines for sideboard. Whatever. So, deck looks pretty good. I think we're going to be able to make this work. I don't think I want to do 16 lands, though. We didn't get a Bone Splinters. Bone Splinters would have been pretty nice in here. We got our 3 colorless mana sources, which is, like I said, I think all you need. We have enough things to make the Titan's Presence a 3 mana, exile a 2 power creature, which I think is good enough. There's exile of its power is 2 or less. I see, for some reason I've screwed up Titan's Presence a few times where it's like I've played it as a if their toughness is 2 or less or something like that. I don't know what I thought. It's almost like deal 2 damage to it. Deal exile target creature, deal damage to a card in your hand's power. That's colorless to it. I don't know. I've played it like that for some reason, but I think it's actually much better than that because it can get rid of it can get rid of stuff like Fortified Rampart with a Blister Pod, which is pretty good. So yeah, I think what are we cutting? I like that Voracious Null interacts positively with like Blister Pod, Reaver Drone, Scion Summoners. And it even interacts well with Zulaport Cutthroat. Sack a Blister Pod, make them lose 1. It's kind of cool. I think this deck is synergistic enough to get there. Let's cut the Baloth, I think. Let's cut I think we're cutting an Odd Tar Snare. And then maybe we just do the 16 land deck. I wanted it to be 17 land, but I kind of like all of these cards. Top out at 4 with 6 cards. It just feels like our curve is low enough where I just want to build a big board and then eventually Swarm Surge. I guess another Unnatural Endurance certainly wouldn't have hurt our deck, but this looks good. I think this is fine. No double, well, never mind. We got 1 double color. That's not bad. Maybe that makes us err towards green a little bit. But Corrupted Crossroads can cast how many spells in this deck? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 cards. That's almost half of our deck can be we can get colored mana for like close to half of our deck. We're going to play these for sure. So this deck maybe could have used 1 more colorless mana source, but 3 is like I said, probably an appropriate number. We have the Blister Pods, which turn into Scions, and the Scion Summoners, which also can get us some colorless mana, which makes that fine, I think. All right, yeah, I think this deck is just fine. 7-6 split. So we can count Corrupted Crossroads probably as a colored mana for each. I kind of want to do it the other way, though. No, maybe we do it like they say, even though we need the double green. I mean, I could cut the Tar Snare to play a 17th land. But, like I said, I feel like Tar Snare is actually kind of decent in this deck. Kill something and then... Or it can be used as a combat trick. It's just our curve is so low, I feel okay about 16 lands. So there's like 8 black, 7 green with Corrupted Crossroads. I'm trying to think if that's enough. It feels like it probably is. This is certainly a deck that gets punished for getting flooded. We do have Orion Reef Invoker as a mana sink. These are kind of mana sinks, but not really. I mean, they're not. They're only a little bit mana sinks. Havoc Sower, I guess, is mana sink too. But a pretty specific one. I can't decide. I think I'm playing it like this. I don't play 16 lands very often, but our curve is so low and we have such low impact cards like Blister Pod that it just seems correct to make sure that we don't get flooded or to minimize getting flooded. All right, I guess we're playing it like this. We'll see you round one. Oh yeah, deck rating. I forgot to give this deck a rating. I'll give it a high C, I think. I think it's cool because it's got a cohesive plan, but not like busted by any means. We have some good removal too. I'll give it like a 79%.